Hello? Anybody out there? Anybody want to talk about Jaclyn Hill? Okay, well, I think I saw. How you doing, babe? I think I just saw that Cindy went live. So, possibly. Hi, Melissa. Possibly, maybe if Cindy's going live tonight, this won't be a very hopping place. I don't know. So, what we are going to be discussing tonight is the Mature Face and the new Jaclyn Hill palette. So, just want to give it a couple minutes. Hi there. Hi, Lords. How you doing? Got Melissa and okay. Oh, thank you, honey. You know what I'm trying to do? I tried to wear the palette today. I think now I have pretty much hit every shadow in here in the time that I've had it. So my eyeballs kind of hurt because I've used so many of these. Today I wanted to make sure that I used them and compared them to this. So I didn't want to say anything about this palette until I had used it for a good long time. I do want to say that I've had it since I ordered on June the 22nd, and I'm going to go ahead and put it out there and let everybody know that when I bought this palette, it was with the intention of selling it. So yeah, I'm the sellout person who buys things just to unload them for, you know, a profit. I had a good reason for doing that. I'm about to get to the 5,000 mark. I wanted to be able to give a good giveaway for my 5,000 subscriber. Not going to be able to do that now. But hi, Trish. How are you? So anyway, what I wanted to, let me give Trish a wrench here. As I was saying, when I first got this palette, the idea was that I was going to buy the palettes with the intention of selling them for a profit, because I did not believe that. I mean, okay, as much as I try not to, sometimes I come off as a snob, and I just don't. I just didn't think that Morphe was a good eyeshadow, quite frankly. I do have this palette. It's the Jaclyn Hill palette. And this is her favorites that came out a couple of years back. So when I bought this, I bought two with the intention of selling them on eBay for a higher price so that I could have a really nice 5,000 subscriber giveaway for you guys. That was my intention. Then Shauna, you guys, hi Lisa. You know Shauna D? Well, she's a friend of mine, and she truly, really did want this palette. She talked about it on Snapchat. She was yapping about how much she wanted it and stuff, and she didn't get there in time to get the palette, and I felt bad because I had two. So by the end of the day, my conscience got the best of me, and I sold her one of them for the price that I paid. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'll just put this one on eBay. Maybe I'll still get enough to have a nice giveaway. But it wasn't moving because, you know why? It was going to come back out. So nobody was wanting to pay for it and everything. So I thought, what the heck? I may as well, right? So as you can see, the thing's been pretty well loved here. I've tried, I wanted to make sure if I'm going to talk about it at all, that I use everything. So I believe I've hit everything in this palette at least once. So I do want to give you a little bit of background because I don't want anyone thinking, I don't want any Hillsters watching this and thinking she doesn't like Jaclyn. She was just trying to profit off of her. Or anybody thinking that I'm trying to bash Morphe. There's plenty of other eyeshadow places and whatever out there that I don't think are worthy of my money, and I would prefer to have something else. So it's not that I'm trying to bash anybody. But I do want to say, for those that don't know it, that when I first came across Jaclyn Hill, she was actually my gateway into this community, if you can believe it. I was having a little bit of problem with makeup, and after I turned 50, I searched for how to do eyeshadow on Google, and Jaclyn popped up, and I was mesmerized by her eyes. So I clicked on the video, and that was the first time that I had ever seen a beauty video. So then I proceeded to watch all of Jaclyn's videos. You do, Lord? So yes, I've got that palette too. And you know, Morphe has been around since 2007. I believe they were selling at trade shows, and they did have an online presence, but it wasn't until Jaclyn Hill walked into their store one day in Burbanks, California, and tried their shadows and went absolutely crazy. And I will put the links to the videos where I remember watching this. I remember watching Jaclyn talk about the shadows that she had found that were Morphe, and she built her own palette there. Then she did a get ready with me using those. Hi, Michelle, how are you? How's everybody doing? Don't forget to give me thumbs up. Need the engagement. She gets on her channel, which was rather big, does a get ready with me with these Morphe shadows, and keeps talking about how pigmented they are, how wonderful they are. And they're only $2, you know, and so what happened was it crashed the Morphe site. And then, well, they got together and they made this. So this, what Lisa says, I do not own a Morphe palette, but Jackie does. The 350 she loves. If there was ever a need for a palette, it may be just that one, should I need to know the skinny. Well, Lisa, that's what we're doing here tonight, is I'm going to give you the skinny on the palette for us older ladies. Does your eyeballs need it? Is it any different than anything else at Morphe? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So anyway, Jaclyn comes out with this. I stayed up all night long. I remember it was a New Year's Eve. And what this is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Favorites palette. So basically what we have here, and the reason this is important is because I needed to be able to compare these shadows, the regular Morphe shadows, with the Jaclyn Hill palette that was just released. So this is what Jaclyn deemed her favorite shadows that Morphe had to offer. So it was this palette that I have been going up against with this one. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth here. And it's a bitter pill to swallow. I've already been on Snapchat and people seen me, so yeah, there's no taking it back. When this thing came in, as I've been explaining, and if you just come in the room, you probably don't know that this was something that I just wanted to profit from. The box it came in, I don't have anymore. It doesn't mean anything to me. I threw it away. It was very cheap, but who cares? It was an outside box. I don't know about you. Hi there, Bella. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't keep the outside boxes. I mean, some people might, but I don't. So it didn't matter to me that the outside box was crappy. But I did judge the packaging at first on the outside box. So the outside box is kind of flimsy and cardboard. Inside it then is this palette, and it was bubble wrapped inside of it. My initial thoughts were, when I first looked at it, was if they worked on this so long to get it right, why is Jaclyn wearing red hair on the back? I mean, I would have thought that her hair's been black now, or really, really dark brown for, hi, babe. Hi, Monica. Hi, everybody. Jaclyn's hair has been dark for enough time now that I would think if they were going to squabble over these shades for as long as they did, they would have wanted to update the picture. But, you know, again, who cares? It's the outside of a box. So, oh, good. Now I have stuff all over it. Let's see if it wipes up. I have no idea what this is. But I'm going to tell you what. The second thing that I complained about was this cardboard exterior, okay? Specifically up here, I will say I judged it harshly. I've looked at some of my other palettes since then, and they too also are just exactly like that. My next thing was that it's white cardboard. Can you hear that? It's white cardboard. So I'm like, how stupid is that? It's going to get dirty. You're not going to be able to wipe it off. Okay, this is mascara. I set down a tube of mascara here and it got on the desk. I didn't do it on purpose, but since it's here, let me show you. I have had my grubby fingers all over this palette ever since I got it. I've used, I believe, every shade in it. And so I have gotten shadows all over the outside of this with my grubby little fingers, and it's still white because it wipes clean. So yes, it is cardboard, but it's not what you would think of as, hi Annie, it's not what you would think of as a regular normal cardboard. If that makes any sense, it wipes clean and it doesn't get water damaged from doing it. Okay, so this is mascara on the back, and if this comes off, I'm really going to be amazed because shadows wipe off of it, but mascara, I don't know. Okay, I got a little bit off. I'm smearing it. I've been very impressed with how easy, I mean, how many of you are going to get mascara on your desk and then set the palette in it? Probably I'm the only one who does that. But if you're worried about getting shadows on this and it not wiping off, I've not had a problem yet. So Melissa, it is not a laminated, Melissa 55 says, is it a type of laminated cardboard? It doesn't really feel like it. You know how the Lorac Mega Pro 3 feels? That's kind of like a laminated kind of cardboard. It does not feel like that. This feels sleek. I can't really say what it is. It is some type of cardboard, but I was really wrong jumping on this and acting like this was a cheap package, because it's not. It's sturdy. I've wiped it off wet. I don't know how many times now with a Huggy, with a wet towel. It wipes clean. It doesn't get water damage. This is a mirrored kind of finished on the front. I am having a little bit of problem getting the mascara off the back, but I bet if I keep working on it, I will be able to get it off there. On the back of the palette is her initials, JH, all over it. And then it says Morphe X Jaclyn Hill. Her name is on the front, or her signature is on the front in a mirrored kind of silver. So it's very Jaclyn Hillish. Okay, she likes white and silver. So, okay, then on it comes, I taped this down. You guys have probably seen it. Says this palette is for, I don't know what it says, something like it's for her subscribers, love Jaclyn or something. I would have liked to have seen a mirror here, but if we weren't going to put the shadow names on the palette underneath these shades, which I think it absolutely should have been there. No, there's no mirror, Michelle. Hi, Sherry. Here's the thing, guys. I think, and this is just my own personal opinion, okay, that the packaging was, they took great care to make sure that this packaging would hold up. So the only thing that I can figure, and as I said, this is my own opinion, is the reason there's no mirror or no name underneath here was because they sent out the PR packages, and all of those were really nice packages with videos, like little TVs in there. If they hadn't done that, they could, I would think that they could have easily put a mirror here. I think they could have easily put names under here. Now, those PR packages, when they went out, these cards were in there, but they were full size, like this big. Here you get a postcard, and I'll tell you, if you order this, thank you, Kelly. She says, I look so pretty tonight. What foundation am I using? Tonight I have on the L'Oreal, and I'm burning up. Boy, I'm glowing, right? Because I'm so hot. It's the L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation. And I am wearing the Jaclyn Hill palette tonight on my eyes, and I'll go through those shades in just a second. I think that you should make sure if you order this, this is going to be loose in the box. It's not inside the cardboard box like you would expect with the palette. It's actually just laying loose in the box. And then inside the box is the palette inside its box. You see what I'm saying? So you could easily throw away that. So I decided that what I would do was I put a tape on here, and I taped this over this message that Jaclyn's put there, because to me it's more important as somebody that may be using this palette in tutorials to be able to look up and tell you what the shades are called. See? So I am burning up. Are you guys burning up? It's hot in here. All right then, so tonight I am wearing this palette, and I have the purple, which is called Royalty, on my lid. I used several shades. I did like Jaclyn would do. Jaclyn would layer. So I went through, and the first thing that I did was, use this Wet n Wild Brulee. Here's a con of this palette, I think. Now, as I say this, though, keep in mind that there are quite a few palettes that I own out there that are the same way. But to my knowledge, the only palettes I've ever owned that I thought did this right was Too Faced, in that they give you, I want a shade like Brulee. I want a shade that is a matte cream, matte, all over shade. And what I would have done was I would have took maybe 2 of these out. I would have made this whole 4 corner here one big pan of something like Brulee, because you're going to use that to death. Okay, you're going to lay that down most probably, and you're going to need a bigger pan of that, right? But in this palette, there's not even one color like Brulee. These two, this is a satin, and this is kind of, I think it's also it might be a frost. I'll tell you in a second because I wrote them down. But neither one of those 2 shades that I would normally use first are a matte. So the first thing I did was I took the Wet n Wild Brulee, and I put that down all over my lid. Then I went in with, and I think that she said that she uses every single day butter on her lid. And so I did that. So I went in, used this and this, building that up high onto my crease. Then I came down and I got, I mixed these 2 and came into my crease with that. Then I deepened it up with this one. Then I went over my lid with the purple. Now, the purple, when you put the purple on, you have to, it's one swipe across with a brush will make it a faint purple. Then you can go, I had to go back over 3 times to get this intensity. I think that that's going to be good for a lot of people because purple is a scary color to some people. Now, sticking your finger in there, it looks like, wow. And if you swatch that on your arm, you go, wow. But it's not that scary when you take a brush in it. When you take a brush in it, and it also depends on which primer you used. Okay, so in this trial that I conducted, I used, yeah, you're right, Sherry. It is a big palette to have no cream color, cream base color. Gosh darn, I forgot what I was going to say. I got sidetracked by what I saw Sherry say, and then I forgot what it was I was gonna say here. This, by the way, don't bother trying to wipe the shades off here. They don't come off on the silver very well. So, but you know, it is what it is. It's okay. Not many people wash the insides of their palettes anyway. But this here I did today, because we'll get to talking about this shade in a second, but I got it messy out here, and it actually did stain my finger for a little bit of the day. So the purple then, oh, I know what it was. I have used them over MAC Paint Pot Painterly, over Milani Eye Base, over Wet n Wild Eye Base, Urban Decay, and none. So the other day I put the shadows on this eye with no primer, and then I used a primer on this eye to see what will happen then. And believe it or not, at the end of the day, which was something like 12 hours long, I had the slightest amount of creasing, ironically, on the side that had the primer. So I think it kind of depends on your own oily lids or whatnot. I mean, I think everybody's lid base is maybe a little different. I have not watched anybody do anything on this, because I wanted to be able to tell you from my own perspective without being swayed by anybody else. The only video that I have watched is the one that Jaclyn put out herself. How is the fallout situation? Very minimal. I was shocked. Okay, I've got to tell you that I am shocked by this palette. I don't want to say I love this palette, but I do. I love this palette. Is it worth the money? I think it is. So I like using primer when using eyeshadows. Annie, I do too. But I did want to know, how will it do if I don't? Okay, so for example, coffee break or coffee before mascara. I'm so sorry. Is your name Michelle? I think your name's Michelle. I hope so. That's so embarrassing. Okay, so like today, I purposefully picked these colors because they're loud, they're bold, and I wanted to see before I put on anything else, just going at it in a hurry, what kind of fallout am I going to be dealing with here? So I had the tiniest amount right in here, and it was from Abyss, which is this black right there. Okay, because I was just really being messy. I wasn't trying to take my time. I was in a hurry. So, and it came from Abyss, but it was nothing that I couldn't just, I took this wet wipe and went like this and just wiped it away, and it was fine. I'm actually pretty impressed with how little fallout there is from this. There's not much at all. So I have Poolside, as you can see underneath here, Royalty here. I've got Butter, Pooter, 24/7. Forgot the name of this one. I got a whole bunch of these shades on tonight. They play well with other shades. Yesterday, I took a L'Oreal Metal eyeshadow and I put that all over, and then I went over it with this palette to see how will it do on top of other shadows, because sometimes we like to not, you know, this is not a standalone. I don't think it's a standalone because it lacks a shade like Wet n Wild Brulee. I need that shade. I need this matte cream base. When I say cream, I mean cream color. I need this, and it doesn't exist. So for me, that means it's not a standalone palette. Oftentimes I will get in and I will get other palettes and bring them in and use those. So I wanted to know how these play with other shadows, and they did absolutely fine. Melissa, the price of this is $38. Yeah, Pukey. I think it is called that, Pooter. There is a shade Pukey in there. Some of the names, I mean, you have to watch her video to hear why she named these shades what they are. But yeah, some of the names are kind of wild. So thank you. Yes, with shipping, it was $47. I don't know why. My total was $47 with the shipping. So, and I remember that because I thought, wow, I could have had a Viseart palette. I could have had a Busy Art Theory palette for what I just paid for this. And at the time I said it, I thought that this would be crap. Okay, so it's not though. Okay, so do I have, Michelle wants to know, do I have any other Morphe palettes and how do they compare? Yes, I do have this one. This one here was Jaclyn Hill's favorite palette. Okay, it was, I think it came out in 2015. She picked out her favorite shades and then they released this palette on New Year's Eve. So today what I was doing was, and my eyelids are sore. Today what I was doing was going through and putting my fingers in and swatching these against these. And then I did an eye look, okay? Because to me, this shade here looks an awful lot like this shade, which is Pooter, okay? So I thought, oh, well, we got a dupe shade here. They feel totally different. So I thought, wow, we got two shades that look almost exactly alike from the Jaclyn Hill favorite palette and her palette. But that isn't the case. When you get them on your eyes, they're totally different shadows. And I have to tell you, Michelle, gosh, I just got that all over me. You can feel a difference. There is a difference in the feel of these shadows. I'm a little bit, Michelle says, I don't own any Morphe palettes. Would you recommend that this would be my first? I would definitely recommend that you get this palette. If you want a Morphe palette, this is the one to get. Now, here's what puzzles me. I did do a search on the ingredients of this palette. And this palette has the exact same ingredients as one that they call, let me see, I wrote this down. There's a palette on the Morphe site called the 25A Copper Spice Eyeshadow Palette for $17.99. They do not have the same shades, okay? Just be clear about that. But the ingredients are exactly the same except for two. The other one has something in it called kaolin, and the Jaclyn Hill palette does not. And the Jaclyn Hill palette has a type of blue in it that other palette doesn't. So I'm confused because she says that it's been totally reformulated. And yet that palette's ingredients, except for two, are exactly the same. However, based on the palette that I have, this one, which was her favorites in 2015, these do feel and perform different than the old Morphe Shadows. Okay, let's see here if I can check what people are saying. Anybody got any questions for me before I keep yammering? Okay, Annie says they said that they messed up and put wrong ingredients on the palettes. So Annie, is what I think I am hearing is that they messed up on the website. They didn't put the right thing on the website. Is that right? Yammer away, Mary. Okay, Melinda, I will yammer away. Okay, so I'm not going to show you guys swatches because I think you probably have seen them everywhere, right? But I will tell you, there were concerns. Jaclyn said that people were talking about this shade. Deb Boy says, love you guys. How much do you spend on this stuff? How much can you wear really? That's a good question. I think for a lot of us, it's an addiction, to tell you the truth. I tend to reevaluate quite often, and then I go to put it on my website for sale if I've got something that's very similar, something I'm not going to use again. Will this go up there? No. I don't see me getting rid of this because it is a good palette. Some of these shadows almost feel wet. Okay, anyway, so back to 24/7. That's the name of this shade. I think, yes, 24/7. Okay, so this would be the one that they say is a glitter. So there are ones in here. Okay, so Annie says, but Jaclyn said something different and said it was pressed differently. Two different stories on why the ingredients were the same on the packages. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, well, here's the thing. This here shadow that you're looking at right there, the one that I've made such a mess with in here, this is called 24/7. And this is the one shade in there that Jaclyn was saying in her video that, and I don't know because I didn't watch other people's videos, but she said that people were remarking this shade does not perform. Okay, and so this would be the pressed glitter one. And I guess it's pressed down really hard. Now, if you take the palette and you look like this, you'll see the glitter in there. But I'm here to attest to you and tell you, it will not fall. It's not going to fall out. It doesn't fall out. Now, she said this shade, 24/7, you need to put on with your finger or a very wet brush. I watched that video 3 times to make sure that I understood what it was she was saying. So she said 24/7 needs to have a really wet brush or be put on with your fingers. But I'm here to tell you that I've used it twice. And the last time I used it, I used a brush. I used a flat shader and it went on beautifully. I got absolutely no fallout until I took off my makeup. Now, when I went to take off my makeup, well, I got glitter all over my face. But at that point, who cares? I'm taking off my makeup and washing my face. While the shadow was on my lids, though, I had absolutely no fallout from it. So I'm not really sure why she was saying that you have to use your fingers and or use it really wet, because I used a brush and it was fine. I believe that is Trish still in the room? Trish girl, are you still out there? I think she has this palette. I want to know if she can confirm for me that she also has used this with maybe a brush and hadn't had a problem. So that is the swatch of it. And there is it's a very beautiful shade, but I don't think I've ever seen glitter this tiny. This is some tiny glitter. Yes. So Trish, are you saying that you have used this with a brush also and it performed fine? Because that was the case for me. I didn't need to use my fingers. I mean, I did because she said to, but I just wanted to see how bad will it get. And I was able to do just fine with it with a brush. Now, there is a shade in here that I would say is a dud. But there's only one, and that would be this blue one here called Twerk. I expected a lot more out of Twerk because when you touch it, it's really soft, and you swirl around in there and pick up some of that. And it's got the most unusual shift to it. I can't turn my arm around here. It's a blue that almost looks purple. Yeah, Trish says that she's not had any issues with it either. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe it was the primer I used that day. Maybe me and Trish used, you know, for the most part, I like MAC Paint Pot and Painterly. So, you know, but I didn't have any trouble with it. I do have a problem with Twerk, though. This shade here I'm not too fond of. It's kind of weird. When Jaclyn showed it, it looked absolutely gorgeous, but I had a hard time and kept having to go back in and kept having to go back in to use this shade. So, but everything else here, I mean, like this green, it probably looks a little gray to you right now on here, but it's the most beautiful green. And I know Trish used that. Trish says it twerks into a different hue. Yes, it does. Michelle, I have got Poolside on my lower lashes here. Poolside is a beautiful shimmer turquoise, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This green, I saw Trish take this, I think it was this green. Gosh, maybe it wasn't. Was it this green, Trish, that you were using in your tutorial the other day, or was it a different palette? I thought she was using this. But I can tell you what, if you were to use this color here, and that's called Jada. Jada and this is Pool Party right here. Oh my gosh, these are so pretty together. They're just great. So, you know, I mean, I thought it was it's really kind of an amazing story. I've been trying to sort out since June 20th, how I feel and what my problem is with Morphe. Okay, because I don't like them. And okay, I've got shadow all over this. See it? So I need a wetter one of these, but it just wipes right off. And I find that, I just did it again right there. Can you imagine how dirty this thing would be? Because I got eyeshadow all over me, and now I'm touching all over the front of the palette. So if this didn't wipe off so easily, this would be such a total mess and disaster. And I don't get it. I don't understand what this is made of. It's a cardboard, but there's something over it because it doesn't get dirty. Annie says she gets the feeling that I have about Morphe. Okay, so here's the thing. Michelle wants to know if I like the Morphe brushes. This is kind of a loaded question. I don't want to start a fight or anything. Here's the thing. I've come to this conclusion because I thought, okay, what exactly is my problem with Morphe? Other than they don't understand how old their company is. Serious. I did some research because I knew that I had heard Jaclyn talking about Morphe and that she pretty much put them on the map online. Okay, so I went looking to see, and from what I could discover, they were on the web in 2007. So, you know, they've probably been around for about 5 or 6 years or so before Jaclyn wandered into their shop one day and discovered these amazing $2 really pigmented shadows, right? So I called Morphe on the phone today, and I just want to know, how old is Morphe? And she didn't know. I'm like, what? You work there, but you don't know how old the company is? Don't most companies put you through a thing about the company you have to learn? Well, she didn't know. She had to go check. I told her, I said, well, I'm thinking it's about 10 years. I think you've been around since 2007. Can you confirm it? So she puts me on hold, and she goes and checks and comes back, and yeah. The best they could do was they think it's 10 years. I thought that was amazing that they didn't know how old their own company is. But anyway, so, oh, sorry, I was reading. Okay, how do I feel about Morphe brushes then? Okay, some of my first brushes were actually Coastal Scents. Have you guys ever heard of Coastal Scents? So some of my very first brushes, because I couldn't afford anything else, were Coastal Scents. And I think that a lot of the Morphe brushes that I have had remind me of Coastal Scents. So I think that if you are starting out and you want to get some brushes and you've never had any brushes, I think that the Morphe brushes are fine. I think that if it hadn't been for Coastal Scents, I wouldn't have been able to do eyeshadow. I couldn't afford anything else. They were so inexpensive, and I used them to death, and I could afford them to, as I used them to death, replace them. Okay, so I think that Morphe kind of falls into that same category of brushes. Not really sure. I think that what I have evaluated here, because I'm like, what exactly is it? What is your beef I know that my beef with this palette wasn't Jaclyn. It wasn't Jaclyn. So that means it was Morphe. But what exactly is my beef with Morphe? I mean, really, what has Morphe done but be a business? They're a business, okay? They had a business. They were doing trade show. They were doing fine. Then Jaclyn Hill stumbles into their humble abode, puts them on the map pretty much, and then they exploited that, okay, with social media on YouTube, and any business pretty much would. That is what business is, right? Trying to make some money the best way you know how. So that's what they've done. I think my problem with the brand Morphe is the shadiness that has been going on with the bigger YouTubers and the coupon codes, the coupon codes. I think that that's my big deal is, and I don't even have a problem with them making money. Okay. I think that they deserve to make the money. I just don't like being tricked into them making the money, if that makes sense. So, why? So Morphe brushes. I have some Morphe brushes. I've had some really bad Morphe brushes. I've had Morphe brushes that I've washed and they fell apart. The barrels fell off. the hairs came out. And I've got some Morphe brushes that I use every day. Here's one. Okay. This one, let's see. Hang on. I've got a couple of Morphe brushes that I do use. Okay. Here's a couple right here. I use these two all the time. This is the Morphe E22. I love using this brush, not to blend my eyeshadow. I'm sure that's what it's for. But that's not what I use this for. I like using this to contour my nose. Okay. Yes, Annie, Stephanie Nicole is like my hero. Maybe I don't like Morphe because she don't. Okay. Anyway, the Morphe M124. This is a little shader brush. So I like these little petite shader brushes. It's like $3, you know, or something like that. Thank you, Sean. Marie says, I think they opened up the first store in 2013. I love the M439 recommended by Jaclyn Hill. So I do have maybe four Morphe brushes, and they serve their purpose just fine. And if something happens to them, I'm not going to cry because I can go get another one dirt cheap. It would not be the same for this. Okay, this is my Wayne Goss. This is my Wayne Goss 03 brush. This brush, I'm going to cry if something happens to this brush. And I love this brush. My Cheeky Hodo brushes, my Tom Ford brushes. But sometimes you do want a little cheap brush, right? And, you know, I can't say, well, you know, they shouldn't even be in the game because they don't have good brushes. Some of their brushes are good. But if they weren't in the game, then there would be a bunch of people who could not have brushes, because when you first start out with your brush collection, you don't, well, most people don't have the money to invest in a full set of Wayne Goss brushes. Sometimes you need a brush that you can just reach for, and it doesn't matter if something happens to it. You know what I'm saying? So Marie says, oh, Wayne Goss, I have his eye brushes. The Sephora ones are good too. Yes, some of my favorite brushes are Sephora brand. I love Sephora brand. In fact, I have a Sephora brush. Let's see if I can find it really quick. No, that's a Sigma. I don't think I can find. Here's another Morphe brush. This one is E36. Okay, here's a typical thing. Okay, see, look at this brush. You see how you can, like, you got to be careful here. You can look down in this barrel. So, but what was this brush? Like $3? I mean, you get what you pay for. So, you know, there you go. I mean, there's my thought on Morphe brushes. Isn't it nice that we're talking about Morphe brushes when this is supposed to be about the Jaclyn Hill palette? Okay, Marie says, when you invest in your business and created a brand, it's okay to have 50,000 and more. Carly Bible is awesome, and she is not. I think I may have come in on a conversation there. And he says, you see Jaclyn Hill use all pricey products and then use a $3 Morphe brush. Now that I do find a little bit funny. I was kind of laughing at myself tonight when I was getting ready, because here I have this Jaclyn Hill palette and it costs, well, it wasn't that cheap when you think about it, but you know, if you take it into consideration, maybe these shades average out to be $1. I don't know. But, you know, here I am dipping down into pooter or whatever with my Wayne Goss brush, you know, going down here. And it just, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought about doing the shadows with the Morphe brushes, but, you know, I mean, some of my Morphe brushes, this one I don't have a problem with. This one performs just as well as the Sephora one that I have. I like it. It's cheap. I could pick up 10 of these, and I wouldn't have to wash the brush for a while. That's the M124. So it's one of these small brushes, right? Tony says, I wish I knew the ins and outs of YouTube. Monica says, time-wise, I lot much more so than money. Huh? Okay. All righty. I don't know what's, there's a conversation going on here that I think I have missed. 50,000. Wow. I like Wayne Goss brushes. Bev, I like Wayne Goss brushes too. Kidding me to make comments. Oh, about the coupon, Melissa. Okay, now I don't know. I can't. So don't say, well, Mary said, because I don't know. But let's pretend, because I heard from somebody, I don't remember who, but let's pretend. Okay, like right now, you see what I'm doing with this brush? This is a Morphe brush, and I'm chewing on the handle. Sometimes you need a brush you can chew on the handle. Okay, somebody said that Jaclyn gets 30%. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what she does or doesn't get. And does she deserve it? I don't know that either. That's not for me to decide. But let's say she did get 30%. And this palette costs $38. So then she would get 30% of every one of these that was sold. That's a lot of money. And, you know, I don't have a problem with it. She worked her butt off on the palette for 2 years, and you can feel and see the difference. I promise you that if you have Morphe Shadows and you get this palette, you're going to see and feel a difference in these shades than the others. Now, I don't have but one. I've just got this one. But this was Jaclyn's favorites from Morphe stock. So I'm thinking that if Jaclyn picked out these shades from Morphe and said, of all the shadows you have, these are my favorite, then this is probably the best that Morphe has to offer. I don't know. And keep in mind also, this was in 2014 or 15. They could have improved. I don't know. All I know is that this palette and this palette are not the same thing. Okay, so let me see here what, I got to back up here. Okay, this conversation has nothing to do with this. Okay, Bev says, I see nothing wrong with making money if you are honest, but if the money taints your honesty, then you've sold your soul. I would agree with that, Bev. Bev, I would agree with that, Bev. Yes, that's absolutely right. And I don't know Jaclyn. I've watched all of her videos. For the longest time, she was the only one that, I mean, like I said, she was my gateway into YouTube, beauty YouTube. For those of you who came in later, I had told when I first started the chat that I was having some problems with makeup when I hit 50 because I hadn't worn it in quite a few years. And so I was looking up on Google how to do eyeshadow, and Jaclyn popped up, and I was like, those are the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. Yeah, she's young enough to be my kid, but I went and watched, and I was like, to be able to know what she knows when I was her age, oh my gosh, okay, she knew more than I ever did about makeup. And so I watched her videos every day. I would watch more and more. And I watched her for a good long time before I discovered that there was even other people out there doing that, especially our age. So, you know, I can't say there's a soft spot in my heart for Jaclyn Hill. It doesn't matter how old I get. I do think she's changed. She self-admits that she's changed. And I don't know how you couldn't. But there are some beauty YouTubers out there who I think will lie to get you to use the coupon code so they can make more money. There, I said it. Okay, let's see if I can get to some of these questions. All right, may have been wrong. I heard somewhere it comes in stock. Okay, yes, Kelly, the reason that I'm doing this is because this thing does come back in stock on the 17th, I think. And I wanted you guys to be able to hear. I actually wasn't going to say anything at all about this palette. I was just going to hide it in oblivion and hope everyone forgot what I said. But I heard from some of you on Snapchat that you wanted to hear from a mature woman's point of view about these shadows. So I wanted to do that before it came back out, so you would know whether or not it would be worth your money. And I didn't have a time to make a video. Hence, here we are tonight doing a live stream. So Melissa says, do I feel they deliberately sell out to make it more important? Some of them, I think they do, yes. Yeah, I do. I think there's a couple of YouTubers, and I don't know if I want to name any names, but I think they deliberately falsify what they're doing when they're actually maybe even getting some stuff free so that you will go use their coupon code because they get paid. Maybe 10% they get paid of whatever you buy from their coupon code. And again, like I said before, I don't have a problem with them making money. But when they're just doing it and they're lying to me, okay. I know some of you have seen the footage of Laura Lee and Manny MUA in the Morphe store. And they were going ham on the products in the store. And Laura Lee shows this big, long receipt to show everyone, these are the things we buy, and blah, 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 blah. And the story supposedly goes, she zeroes in on the receipt so you can see and think that they bought that stuff with their money. And you'll go buy this stuff too, because it's their favorite stuff. And that's your favorite YouTuber. Use their code. Okay, and then they get 10% of what they just showed you they think is good enough to buy because it's in their cart, and look at this big long receipt. But what you didn't see is, if you zoom in on the receipt, is it says $0, $0, $0, $0, $0, because Linda wrote it off when they got up to the register at the front. Now, Laura Lee says, we didn't know she was going to do that. But that didn't come out until after the scandal hit. So you decide. Did they do that because they wanted you to buy stuff, use their coupon codes, and they could make a lot of money, and they wanted you to think that they bought all that stuff with that big long receipt? Because I'm thinking I probably would have said, oh my gosh, look, we were going to buy this stuff, and look at all this stuff we got free when we got to the register or whatever, because you can't lie like that. That stuff will come out. So yeah, I do think there are some YouTubers who will lie through their teeth to you to get you to buy so that they will get money. And then I think that there's some who won't. And like I said before, I don't care. I really don't care if YouTubers make money. If you are an affiliate of somebody and you believe, you believe 100% in that product, and you use that product yourself, okay, and you believe 100% in this product, and you want to promote that product, I do that. Okay, I am an affiliate, and you all know it, of Trophy Skin. I believe in that system 100%. I use that thing. Well, right now I'm not, because I'm doing a skincare challenge thing, but I love that thing and I promote it. And the reason that I promote it is because it works and I proved it works. So they offered me an affiliateship, an affiliate, whatever. They offered it to me and I said, yes, I will. Because I love this product. It does what you say it does. I proved that it did. I donated my face for a long time to prove it did. And if you guys don't want to do it, fine. There have been people that have watched that video, gone to Groupon, bought the system anyway, and thanked me. And I'm like, good, because I want you to be able to have a really nice face. and that's fine. But if you want, you can use my code and you can go buy it and I will get money for it too. And you get the system for cheaper because I had a coupon code for it and I get to make something as well. I'm being honest with you about that. I don't have a problem with that or anybody else who does it. Where the problem comes in is when you try to deceive me or make me think like you're doing something good for me. And I never understood why people were getting so upset. Yes, Monica, I did say that. I didn't mean that, but that's what I said. I'm busted. My tongue. But, you know, I mean, everybody, I just don't think you should lie and hide it. I just don't think you should. So there are some people who are doing it, and I don't think that that's right. So Jaclyn, I think everybody knows Jaclyn's going to get money for this. And I'm not even going to tell you, oh, they gypped you because they didn't put the colors down, the names of the colors here, and they didn't give you a mirror because they have to pay Jaclyn. Jaclyn deserves to be paid for this palette. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is maybe they could have invested a mirror in here, and maybe they could have put the colors down here if they hadn't sent out PR packages with video TVs on the inside of Jaclyn talking about the palette. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let me look at what's going on here in the room, make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. This has been happening on TV because actors get paid now. Yes. Melinda, Pigsty Atelier, you're right. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows these actors on TV with the Revlon mascara. One, we know that they're using false lashes. But two, we know that the actress is getting paid. We all know that when Julia Roberts is in the Lancome commercial with the beautiful perfume and she walks through the room and that she didn't do nothing, right? She just got up in a beautiful dress and she walked across the room, that she made big bucks for doing that. And we're okay with it. We are okay with Julia Roberts coming away with loaning her face and her personality to Lancome to get money. We're okay with that. Why wouldn't we be okay then with YouTubers making money for doing the same thing? I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem when they lie. Okay. Melissa says, what the heck is all the PR trips they send people on? Well, I don't know. I can tell you what I think it is. I think it's a cheap way for them to get what they want. I think that it's cheaper for them to take the YouTubers on these trips and treat them like royalty than it is to pay, you know, what they would have to pay otherwise. So, and you know, most of us, the YouTubers, we're really impressed with that kind of stuff, right? Because we don't get to do that. Julia Roberts wouldn't be. Her whole life's like that, right? She could own one of those places, but somebody like me or you know, wow, we get to go to Tahiti and we get to do this or that or whatever. We would be really impressed with that. So I think it's just like a kickback, and they actually save money, even though the YouTuber is being wined and dined and made to feel special and everything. It's still cheaper for them to do that than to cut them the check that they would cut them if they were just paying them. You know, that's just my thought. I have no clue. Michelle says, but why is none of the mature community never invited to things like that? Okay, you're going to make me cry. I think we don't matter. I think once you hit a certain age, you don't matter anymore. Sorry. Oh, gosh, really? Why would Estee Lauder, go get Kendall Jenner to sell anti-aging products to us? You know, they could go a lot farther if they would go get one of us. Because I am not like Melissa, that video that she made about that was like brilliant. She's right. And we should take a stand. You know, we're never going to matter unless we say. And it's our pocketbooks that decide. So vote at the register. Kelly says, oh, yes, I just asked that earlier. They are missing the demographic. Yes. Annie says, you would think us mature women would be the first ones companies would want to sell their products. Exactly. But I don't know. I mean, hey, put your money where your mouth is, Estee Lauder. Okay? Does your product work or not? Give it here. Give it to somebody who actually needs it and see if it works. Okay, so Deb Boy says it's okay. We all feel this, but don't forget they will be there also. It's the time of our lives, and we are boomers, the best that ever was. Yeah. You know, yeah. Beauty is fleeting, is it not? So sure, one day they'll be there too. Faster than they think. I don't know about you guys, but in my mind, I still think I'm 17 and can jump that. I still think I can jump over that puddle. Funny, it's such a reality comes crashing home to me when I actually land in it. What highlight am I wearing? Corrine says, what highlight am I wearing? It looks amazing. Well, it's Jaclyn Hill's Champagne Pop. I decided it's Becca's Jaclyn Hill collaboration Champagne Pop. And when I say that, here I go. You guys are going, oh, here she goes again. It's the reformulation of Champagne Pop. It's not the original. Okay, I won't even go into it again. It's Champagne Pop. Angela says, I agree. You matter to me. I'm 35. I watch mature beauties. I see many channels I love in live chat here. Thank you, Angela. You know, I don't know. I can't really speak for everybody, but I think I sort of can on this issue. Is it really, you have no idea how much it means to me and my fellow mature beauty community when we find out that a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old are watching us. Because, you know, I mean, sure, we have our community and we all hang out together and stuff, but to think that somebody at the age of 20 or 30 finds value in us, that just makes me feel really warm and fuzzy inside. Kelly Girl says, yes, we do matter. Mature beauties unite. Thumbs up for us all. By the way, everybody, give me a thumbs up. We do not need to be put in a box. I would agree with that. Michelle says, okay, I feel terrible for making Mary cry. No, don't you sign off. I have slipped back into menopause again. I'm getting hot flashes all over again. I'm getting emotional all over again. Don't you leave, Michelle. No, you didn't make me cry. I'm emotional. Melissa 55 says, no, it's good, Michelle. We were all getting our feelings out. That's right. You know, Corrine says, I'm 26 and love watching more mature YouTubers. Love their insight, perspective on products. You know what, Corrine? You are very wise. I mean, at 26 years old, I was not that wise. At 26 years old, I was still rolling my eyes at what my parents said, thinking, oh boy, here we go again. You know, when I should have actually been listening to them. Raymond says, Mary, you're looking fabulous. Thank you, honey. Joni says, Mary, I don't care. I buy what works. I do my own research. I don't buy products from China. If I can avoid it, I don't fall for their advertising. Good for you. Sherry G says, oh, Mary, we matter. Melissa says, yay, golden beauty. And Raymond says, hot flashes as we speak. Oh, good. Trish says that she has to go. Take care, sis. I love you all. Bye, Trish. Thank you so much for being one of the people that came here to support me tonight. I really, really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate all of you coming and sitting with me. I was afraid no one would show up. It's a Friday night. I know that you guys have so much other things you could be doing. And, you know, you showing up for me just once again reiterates that you are the best part of the Fritzy family. I love you guys so much. You have no idea how much you mean to me, how much of my life you are. Deb Boy says, what state do you live in, Fritzy? I am in Indiana. I am in the state of the Indy 500. So apparently Sherry's had pizza. Hello there, Susie Q. That's my Gigi right there. Yeah, so I will stand up in front of you and say I was wrong about this palette. Some people heard me laughing and calling it cheap because it was from Morphe. I did, even though I do love little Jaclyn, I did think that there might have been a little bit of hype about this whole reformulation thing. But I have been in every single shadow in here since I got it, which was, I think I've had it, at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. And I've used them. And I have to say, I look forward to using them. I think that they're good shadows. I think she worked hard on them. I think they really did reformulate them. They feel different. They perform different than these. So if you want to see the comparison between these, the size of these, here we go. And you know, I think I can get that now. What do you want to bet I can get this off here? I bet you I can take some Bifacil and get it right off. Just based on everything else that I've cleaned on it over the last few weeks, I bet I can get it right off here. So let's see. We'll just do it live. I'm just going to take some Bifacil and I'm going to go right on the back of this because I know that that's mascara. There you go. You just watched me do it. Good as new. Clean as it can be on both sides. And it's not ruined by the Bifacil. I would love to know what this is because I can't do this with my Lorac Mega Pro 3. I don't know. But I did. I laughed at it. I made fun of it on Snapchat. And for that, I'm sorry. Whatever this is not crap. Okay, so Deb Boy says, I started wearing makeup again every day and not only on going out. My husband wanted to know if I was planning on flirting or flirting. So, okay. Okay, so it's after 9 o'clock. I know you guys got something better to do tonight, so I don't want to keep you any longer. But that's my 2 cents on this palette. So if you're wanting to know, is it worth the money? Yes. Do I think you should buy it? If you want. Will you regret it if you buy it? I don't think so. I really don't think you will. Even if you already have some of these shades, even if you look at this and say, oh, I have those shades already, I bet you don't. They're not the same. There's been some in here that I looked at and said, oh, I think that's the same shade. It's not. Okay. It's when you swipe it and you put it on there and you look at it, it's not the same shade. So I have close, but not these shades. You may look at this and go, oh, modern Renaissance, got it covered. You know, no, they're a little different. So I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I decided not to sell it and keep it. I might pick up another one. So anyway, you guys have a really good weekend. I want you to know how much I love you and appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by and seeing me tonight. You'll never really know how much it means to me. And if you're not having a blessed day, please go out and be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you. See ya. Bye-bye.